Hello. Happy February. Kind of wild to think that we are in this portal of time 2022. Feels really poignant. It feels really important. It's kind of something that a lot of us seers have had our eyes on for a while. As accumulation, as a shift, as a change, as something occurring during this time. So I just wanted to pop on and share a little bit about the spiritual journey. So most of you here are twin flames. You identify as being a twin flame. And most of you that come here to my YouTube channel are on a path of spiritual awakening, spiritual understanding, spiritual ascension. And that's super critical and super important that when we are initiated, activated, awakened by a twin flame, that our journey doesn't stop there, that we don't get caught up, at least not for too long, in the relationship, in the romance, in the other person, into projecting all of our hopes, our fears, everything onto this other person and putting the focus there. Because what the invitation is for us to go inward. The invitation is for us to really take a look at ourselves, who we are, who we've been, where we're going, why we're here. And each journey is going to look super unique because each of our missions are super unique. I think there's a lot of misconceptions around missions as well. We are kind of taught that we need to discover what our purpose is. And our purpose usually, for many people, associated having something to do with vocation or making money. But that's not the same thing as mission. Mission is similar to a soul resonance, a soul vibration. And this is something that's shared with twin. And it's something that is so deeply ingrained in your soul, in your DNA, in your etheric body, that all you have to do is open yourself up to remembering it, and it reveals itself. So it's not something that you have to search for. It's something you have to remember. And the spiritual awakening and the journey of ascension is what opens you to that. Typically, our greatest struggles are the things we're meant to teach, or are the things we're meant to become masters at and wise at. Wise at, I don't think that makes sense, but you get me. So when this twin flame journey finds us in whatever way that it does, because every journey is super unique, the trap is getting stuck in the polarity. The trap is getting stuck in the third density relationship, drama, saga, all that. And I see a lot of that. And it kind of ties into this other idea I want to talk about, which is the false awakening. Okay, there's a lot of false light at this time. There's a lot of deception. And its sole purpose and goal is confusion and chaos. We are ascending at a rapid rate, and that can't be slowed down. Gaia has already chosen to ascend to 5D. And we are either going to ascend with her or we are going to cease to exist. And I know that sounds dramatic and extreme, but this is why the spiritual journey is so critical in truly understanding ourselves, why we're here, where we come from, who we are, understanding the spiritual laws, understanding the universal truths, right? No matter what religion you practice or don't, no matter what beliefs you hear. So when we understand how ascension works, when we understand our own divinity, our own sovereignty, and that can only be accomplished through balancing our inner divine masculine energy with our inner divine feminine energy. When both of those are perfectly balanced and healed and whole, that's when we have true sovereignty. That's when we're able to perceive from truth. That's when we are able to see past deceptions, past lies. So any chaos, any false awakening, any confusion that people are planting out in the field, people, non-human, all of that, you're able to see past it. You're able to pinpoint, is this true? And you're going to know through that intuition, how do I feel? How does this make me feel? Not bypassing it with the mind, not getting stuck in the mind or the head. But we're only able to do that when we have the feminine and the masculine balanced within us. The masculine is that discernment. It is that warrior. It is that ability to set boundaries, to speak our needs, to be ferocious in our truth, okay? It's not neutral, okay? And I'm going to repeat that because I know a lot of people get caught in this. Masculine energy is not neutral. Masculine energy is not passive. Masculine energy decides, creates, initiates, okay? The feminine holds the all. She holds the void. The feminine receives, responds, is receptive, feels. She's the intuition. She is the Christed sight from above. So when you have both of those balanced, imagine how easy it becomes to trust yourself. Imagine how easy it becomes to see through illusions in the people around you, in the community, in the things you see on TV or in the news, wherever you are taking in information or energy, because all things are energy. It becomes really simple. I don't want to say hard, I don't want to say easy, but simple, because you know how to find your way back home, always. And it's in that balance. It's in that divine mother and divine father within you that have your back always. Yes, this can be connected to a counterpart, but both of these individual humans that do share soul resonance, but they're individual humans with individual karma, they have to balance their own energies. And if you happen to balance yours prior to twin, then there's going to be a part of the journey that you do walk alone. And it could be lifetimes. Because those two things have to be in harmony and balance in order for true union, the Trinity, mother, father, child, to come together. Okay. Let's back up a little bit. The false awakening is meant to keep people in their ego. Because the ego does not want to die. The ego does not want to be burned out. I don't know why that was the saying that came through. It doesn't want to be pushed out. So the ego will grab onto these spiritual concepts, these spiritual principles, and say, yes, I'm a master. Yes, I got this, and distort it. So whatever it is that you're learning, the ego is going to find a way to make it work for the ego's agenda, which is service to self at all costs. Okay, so it can get really confusing, especially if you don't have a masculine energy or a feminine energy within you that's balanced, right? The feminine energy is really important here. True intuition, okay? Not deceptive intuition, not the ego's version of intuition, right? Because that's really just the ego disguising itself as your intuition. And that's where we can get really lost and really confused. And that's where we get stuck in false awakening timelines, templates. Perhaps we learn from teachers. We really hook into teachers who are preaching false awakening, whether they're conscious of it or not. Some are, and some do not come from love light, and they are not humans like you and I. But others are humans that have gotten stuck in karma, okay? They've been entrapped. And they start teaching and projecting a certain timeline. And when you listen to them and you absorb their teachings, their mission, their energy, you start putting your beautiful divine Christed light into that timeline. So you start giving energy to the timeline that may be not what you actually want, but what this person is creating, and you give your beautiful energy to that to create that. And that's not what you want. That's not what your higher self wants. So this is why the intuition is critical. Being sovereign is critical in these times. Being able to weed through and see what is true, what is not. You want to get crystal clear on the timeline you're calling in for yourself, for your twin, for your community, for your world. What are you calling in? And if you have anybody around you in any way, really, that is not in alignment with that, and perhaps is directly in resistance to that or a block to that timeline, you must use your divine masculine energy to cut that person out. Archangel Michael is great for this type of, I just heard surgery, healing, right? Cutting people out, cutting entities out, cutting blocks out, cutting attachments out, clearing the slate, okay? Death energy. Archangel Michael is no nonsense, and Archangel Michael is always the highest ultimate truth. So he wants to assist you with this if this is something that you feel you need to do in your life, clearing. Okay, making sure that your energy is clean, your space is clean, everything is sacred, treat it as such. Okay, we've been training for this time for lifetimes. Those of us that have been reincarnated on Gaia over and over again, we've been training for these times right now, this ascension. Okay, so we're wise. We just need to get out of our own way and allow the inner wisdom to come through to truly remember who we are. And that's when you will easily, effortlessly, in the flow, find your mission. And your mission doesn't have to be what you do. Your mission can be who you be and who you are and how your energy heals and affects and changes others for the good. And that's something that the twin flame journey is really here to teach us and get us wise on and to reveal that, okay? If you have questions about timelines, because I realize I've kind of been going into some really deep spiritual concepts here, and I understand they could be new for some. So let me know, and I'd be happy to expand on any of these ideas that I've shared that may not make sense. Yeah, I just want to state that. So I think what I'll do is I'll chat a little bit more about neutrality and then wrap this up and then continue this conversation as I'm guided. Neutrality can be an illusion, okay? And I'm going to be really careful with my words because I know perception is everything. I'm not saying neutrality is good or bad. It's neutrality. It's neutral. However, in the face of our life, in the face of what occurs around us in our environment, being 100% neutral to that at all times is a trap. It's almost the best example they've given me to try and explain this is if you see a child, not your child, not any child you know, but if you see a child in danger, you know, perhaps by another human, okay, or perhaps you see a child in the street and a car is going to come, are you going to sit there and say, that's not my child, I'm going to stay neutral? I mean, I don't think you are, but I can't answer that for you, right? You're going to say, I'm going to rise to this occasion. I'm going to interfere. I'm going to make a choice. I'm going to choose love. And unconditional love is not neutral. Unconditional love is a powerful choice. And it's a choice in each and every moment. So our choices are going to change. But one thing that is really important is to not sit back in passivity, in neutrality with what we see going on around us with our twin flame journey. Whatever it is, no decision is still a decision. And oftentimes no decision puts us on a path of karma because it's not the dharma. It's not that path. It's not the path we're meant to be on, because choice can be really challenging. It can be really difficult. And for many of us, that's actually what we need to learn, is how to powerfully choose ourselves, choose our twin, choose our mission, choose love light. These are really powerful, powerful pieces. And when you stay neutral, you are actually resisting transformation. You're resisting that death energy that's trying to move you deeper and deeper into unconditional love. And I know that so many spiritual teachers teach neutrality, and I think it's important to note that we may not be talking about different things here, or we might be. So yes, holding loving, neutral space for somebody, non-judgment, of course, that is beautiful. That's important. But what I'm discussing here is neutrality within ourselves that goes into the energy of passivity. that goes into the energy of spiritual bypass, not being willing to face our shadow, not being willing to look at something that's uncomfortable, the darkness within ourselves, within society. And if we haven't looked at the darkness within ourselves, how the hell are we going to look at the darkness within society? We're going to say, nope, 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 that's not true. That can't be true. We're going to run away. Okay, we're going to shut down. Or we're going to get really angry, really triggered, or really sad, really upset, because there's a piece in that we haven't been willing to look at within ourselves. When you have the courage to look at that within yourself, you have the courage to face everything around you. And this is the difference between passivity, neutrality, and powerful choice, making choices from love. You have to have courage. It's a courageous choice to make a choice. Sitting on the fence actually can invite and allow negative energy, negative entities, negative beings. I'm going to go into this in another video, but I did post a TikTok video not too long ago that I think people misunderstood, because we weren't working from the same understanding that not all beings that are on planet Earth right now have come from the same Christ consciousness of love light. It's just a fact. I don't like it, but it's the law. It's the law of universe, polarity. That's what this third density is about. We have made choices in our evolution to invite in darker entities. We have made choices to invite in beings, frequencies, energies from lower timelines, from darker timelines, in order to learn about ourselves, in order to learn how to make sovereign choices, in order to understand unconditional love more. This is part of the spiritual lesson that we've been on this earth, of learning what the difference is, what feels like light, what feels like truth and love, and what isn't. So there are beings that have volunteered to be here to teach us about what love is not. Okay? And it's important to know that. And it's important to know that not all beings, not all guides, not all multidimensional extraterrestrials are good. Okay? They're not all coming in Christed consciousness. And that's a big trap in spiritual communities. People start working with a guide, believing that guide to be truth, love, because it's disguising itself as that, and it's actually feeding off of you. It's siphoning your energy. It's trying to get back into the universal life flow through your energy, so it's attaching to you. When we're in neutrality, when we sit on the fence, we invite those energies in. That's what neutrality does, because we haven't made a choice. When you make a choice in Christ consciousness, in unconditional love, and you choose that timeline, you are way less susceptible to inviting in those energies. Okay? And it's a process. We evolve with this over time. You know, the first time we make the choice to be love light doesn't mean, okay, now we're safe, it's good, we're done, we don't have to worry about it. It's a constant choice in moment to moment to be love. Okay, to be the Mary Magdalene, to be the Yeshua, to be the Mother Mary, to be Babaji, okay, Buddha, to be these higher ascended masters, to embody their energy, their frequency. It's always a choice. We can't sit on the fence about this choice, because when we do, no choice is still a choice. And these other energies feed on that passivity, feed on spiritual bypass. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else in my notes I want to say. Yeah. Neutrality is connected to repression, and it's also connected to not truly loving yourself, to not feeling like you are worthy of that choice, to not feeling like you deserve that choice. So anytime we're on the fence, anytime we're stuck in our head, anytime we're struggling with making decisions, it's an invitation to look at how we're treating ourselves and where we're not fully loving ourselves, where we're not fully showing up. And again, that energy invites in darker energies, entities, timelines, all of it, okay? Because that's what it feeds off of. So it is critical right now to constantly be coming home to yourself, to your love light, to emanating that frequency, vibrating that frequency. When you do, you are not a match for darker energies. That is the beauty. That is the laws of this universe. That is the beauty of Gaia and all of it. That's the beauty of spirituality. When you raise your frequency and you vibrate at a higher energy, then all of that lower density, dark toxicity falls away. It can't meet you. It can't meet you. It can't match you. Okay? And I know a lot of you have experienced this because you've experienced it with your twin. When you are not resonating at the same frequency and they're stuck in karma or some of their dark energy or the influences of the entities and people around them, you don't vibrate at the same frequency, or vice versa. If you're stuck in that energy and they're actually ascending and they're vibrating higher, you can't meet each other, especially with twin, right? Because with twin, it's so subtle. The work is so deep with twin. So if anything is even like a millimeter out of line, it can't work. So I know a lot of you have probably experienced what I'm describing, but when you do ascend, all you're inviting is love light. Okay? It's different than spiritual bypass, because I think what a lot of people do is they want to skip shadow work. They want to skip the hard, difficult death transformation energy of looking inward and looking at themselves. They don't want to do that work. So they try and go straight to love light. But that leaves you super susceptible to everything I just spoke about in this transmission. Okay? You can't skip that step. You can, but it's going to result in a lot more karma and a lot more heaviness and pain that your soul doesn't need to go through, right? That's a choice. Choosing that karmic path is a choice. That's the free will choice that you always have. We all have it. But you can choose a higher timeline. And when you ascend and vibrate at that, your environment is clean. What you attract resonates with you. And anytime, this is a constant practice. For myself, I noticed this. Anytime that maybe a lower energy comes in, something that doesn't quite feel good, not in complete resonance with me, it just is a little bit of it's like your tires are out of alignment. You just need to realign, It's like a quick little adjustment. It's a little lesson. It's a little integration. Oop, I got a little lazy there, right? Oop, I didn't know that my frequency was actually dipping because I was tired or because I wasn't getting proper nutrition or enough water. Oh, but I did. Now I noticed it and now I can fix it. And it's that simple, right? It's that simple. It's clean environment, clean mind, clean soul, clean heart, clean body, clean community, right? What we take in is energy, everything. Food, all of it. I'm not even going to list. You guys get it. That's all energy. So being super, super aware of how we're treating ourselves and what we're taking in during this time. If you guys are interested in more about this is definitely these ideas, these teachings, these transmissions are definitely going to be a part of the course that Laura Faye and I are working on. And, that's all going to be in divine timing. But if you have questions about any of this, please let me know. I will be sharing more about this as I'm guided, as it feels correct. But a lot of these transmissions might end up being for that course specifically. And once that course completes, I may release the content to Patreon or something like that. So we'll figure it out. But it's really important right now. And I'm just feeling super guided to share more about this aspect of the spiritual journey. Because so many of you have ascended through this twin flame connection, and it's not really about twin anymore. It is, but it isn't, because it's always about twin. But yeah. All right, I'm sending you all so much love. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you all very soon.